So Hillary Clinton's campaign logo has been causing some controversy. A lot of people think it's stupid and ugly, while other people think it's brilliant and creative. And this is of course big news because it's very unusual for anything involving Hillary Clinton to polarize public opinion. Personally, I don't think it's that great, but compared to a lot of the other logos out there, it could be a lot worse. Here are 5 logos I personally do not care for. First, the Procter & Gamble logo. Now you probably haven't seen this logo very much because it seems the Procter & Gamble people have been trying to quietly phase it out in favor of this slightly more on the nose alternative. Which only makes sense because the classic logo suffers from 2 horrible flaws. One, it is just a bunch of random nonsense that has nothing to do with aftershave or whatever Procter & Gamble sells. And 2, because it's a bunch of random nonsense, it has long been the source of elaborate conspiracy theories. According to various crazy people, if you connect the stars in the Procter & Gamble logo, you can create 3 6s. And if you squint hard enough, you can maybe find some 6s in other places too. Procter & Gamble now actually have a section of their website devoted to the question as to whether or not their company is in league with Satan. Comfortingly, they declare the rumors totally false. Here is a pro tip: when your logo is forcing you to publicly deny being in league with the devil, it is probably not a great logo. Now here is a logo you will probably recognize if you are from Canada like me. It is from The Bay, which, for our American friends, is a store where Canadians go to buy cheap umbrellas and tacky Christmas ornaments. It was not until I was well into adulthood that I realized that this thing is supposed to be the letter B, probably because it does not resemble a letter B that any literate human being would ever write. I always thought that maybe it was like a ribbon on the top of a box or something. But apparently the Bay logo is supposed to be based on a letter that was seen in the original charter of the Hudson's Bay Corporation, which was written back in 1670 when the only people who could write were uppity monks, and even then it seems like a lot of them were faking it. I mean, really, is this the pinnacle of typographical elegance? By the way, I also learned today that The Bay is also the name of a 2012 horror movie about crabs that crawl down your throat, so that made the Google image search a lot of fun. Now, if you were a paint company, what kind of logo would you design? Maybe something colorful and happy, or something that hints at creativity? What you probably wouldn't do is create a horrifying nightmare image of a can of paint covering the world in disgusting goop, but that's apparently what the Sherwin-Williams people thought would move their product. I mean, the Sherwin-Williams logo is so hideous that The Onion even wrote an article about it. Sherwin-Williams triumphantly reports nearly half the planet covered in paint. And speaking of logos that don't leave enough to the imagination, if you've been reading the non-Hillary Clinton parts of the newspaper lately, you'll know that there's been a lot of controversy over the Obama administration's use of unmanned robotic drones to kill bad guys in other countries. As is so often the case with new military technology, there is a lot of concern that drones might make the killing of other human beings far too easy and casual. Which is what makes it a little bit weird that the Navy's drone program would choose to use this as their logo. All I can say is I don't even think the real Grim Reaper would be this unsubtle in his corporate branding. But then again, government has a real tendency to produce hideous logos. Which leads me to one of my favorite examples, care of the Organization of American States. The OAS is one of the world's largest international organizations, and its 35 members contain all of the countries from North America, South America, Latin America, and the Caribbean. How could anyone come up with a logo to represent so many different countries, you ask? I mean, it's not like you could just take all their flags and jam them into a circle. Oh wait, that's exactly what they did. International organization logos don't have to be hideous. The UN has a half-decent logo, so does the World Bank. But I guess the OAS rightly figured that since no one's heard of them, they could get away with having a logo that basically has to be the size of a medium pizza to be legible. The good thing about the OAS logo, though, is that it's very easy to draw. All you have to do is just grab a handful of markers, take off all the caps, and then mash them around on a piece of paper. So those are 5 of my picks for logos that I've always hated. But I'm sure that there are lots of logos that you don't care for either. Still have pen on my hands. Let me know in the comments as to which logos you really don't like, and maybe I can make a sequel video someday.